reading Maria Shriver, the former, related to the Kennedys, and also married to Arnold Schwarzenegger for a while. She sends out a daily newsletter, and one of the things she's focusing on today is how we need to just get ourselves sort of level and settled and into a good space. And that's true, because right now, this week's going to be really crazy for a lot of people because there's so much unrest. There's so much uncertainty about what's going on. And when there's so much uncertainty, people are on edge. And if you are in a relationship with someone who is toxic, if you're in a relationship with someone who is more narcissistic or self-absorbed, they lack empathy, you're going to have a rough time of it. And actually, it's going to be a rough time of it for the next few months. So we're starting to look ahead to the holidays, starting to look ahead to creating a home that's comfortable for you. So if you've got a narcissist in your life and you need to have some place that you can go and you don't, then you're in the right place right now. I'm Rita Hickman, body mind expert, shiatsu massage therapist, and I help women who are in toxic and narcissistic relationships really create a life for themselves that they love. Whether they stay or whether they get divorced or whether they walk away, it doesn't really matter. So today we're talking about creating a good home. As you can see in my space, you'll see a lot of things. You're going to see colored lights. You're going to see my mom's quilts. You're going to see today my nice little fireplace, artwork that I love, books that I love. It's very intentional. When I grew up, I kind of grew up with the idea that I didn't really own anything. I didn't really have a space that was mine. I didn't have anything that I could call my own. And as you get older, if you end up in a relationship with someone who's very narcissistic, the same sort of feeling can happen where you don't really have anything that's yours. And so what happens is you try to take your life and what you want and what you need and fit it into somebody else's world. And that world doesn't work for you. Let's talk about the thermostat, just as an example. The world that you live in at home may be designed by the person that you're living with in order to not upset them, in order to not make them angry, in order to not create a fight. And so you may spend the majority of the time either too hot or too cold or uncomfortable because if you talk about something like the temperature or the thermostat, there's going to be a big blow up. There's potentially going to be World War III. And that's the last thing that you want. So how do you start to take your home back? How do you start to take your life back in a way that is in a good, positive direction? As they say many times, a good, orderly direction. How do you take your life back and start, planting a flag? I remember a story with one of my clients, Kathy. She was so excited when she bought a piece of furniture after 20, 30 years of marriage. She bought a piece of furniture and she put it where she wanted to. And there was a big argument about it and she stood her ground. But just having something that was hers, just having something that she picked out for her environment, for her space, for her life, in her home was a really big deal. A lot of people don't get this. When you're in a relationship with someone who is a high level of narcissism, you're afraid to be in your own home. You're afraid to be comfortable in your own space. And that's actually a common theme. You'll find that many, many women and men, but we talk to women predominantly here, are living in spaces where nothing is theirs. Everything is adjusted to the other person so that they can try to have some semblance of peace in their home. Well, when people come into my space, I purposely create things that cause them to calm down. I don't focus on how can I please them? What do they need? What do they want? Instead, my focus is on how can I create an environment that works really well for me, that also works really well for the other person. So it works well either way. And one of the things you start to do is making subtle changes to your environment that nourish you, that nurture you, and at the same time, nourish and nurture the other person. When people would come into my office, there's a couple things that they'll always notice. One is that there's essential oils going. I always have a diffuser going. And even if it's not something that they notice or smell or they're conscious of, that light essential oil starts to put them into a good mood, starts to mellow things out. Essential oils can come by having spices out, or oranges out, or lemons out, or limes out. It can be something that's subtle. It can be flowers that you bring in, or herbs that you leave on the counter, or herbs that you harvested from your garden. You can start to put scents in your home, which create an environment for you that smells good, feels good, and smells good for everybody else who's there, and it starts to calm down the nervous system. And remember, the trick with dealing with a narcissist is we want to keep everybody's nervous systems just sort of low key. So when I'm creating a space for people to heal and relax and be peaceful, I think about all the different parts and pieces that make people feel comfortable. So scent is really important. Scent is one of those things that that goes right to your amygdala, right to your fight or flight, and it can either flip you into crazy or it can flip you into stable and sane. So you can have a lot of fun with essential oils, finding things that you like that make you feel good, or if you have to be more subtle, you know, because there might be an argument, you can use all sorts of natural materials. You can use cedar, you can use sage, you can use grasses, you can use resins or barks. It doesn't have to even be something that you burn or something that you put into a diffuser. It can be even just an essential oil that you put on a tissue and you tuck in your bra. It's starting to put your impact on your environment, and you can do it in a way that's low key. So, okay, you've got this scent thing going. You've got this fresh feeling, this fresh scent in your home. What else can you do? A lot of times I use sound. I use music. When you have things which sound nice, which calm you down, everybody starts to calm down a little bit more. So wind chimes are great because they're random and they're pretty and they evoke a sense of magic, let's say. So I like things like wind chimes. I like things like brainwave entrainment music. Many times with I will have music on in the background that other people can't even hear, and that's okay, because the magic of brainwave entrainment music is that it's the waves that you're subconsciously hearing that are getting your brain centered and calm. So when I create a space, I make sure the sound in my space is something that gets people back into their parasympathetic. And you can even have other music over it. It doesn't have to be just the brainwave entrainment stuff. You can have that on really low and then have other music on above it. It doesn't matter, because the brainwave entrainment will naturally calm people down. It puts them into a good space. So what else can you do? Well, you've got some smell, you've got some sound. Now you can work with things that are pretty, that make you feel good and happy. So one of the things you'll see are my mom's quilts. I finally put them up on my board because I wanted to see them all the time. But when you start surrounding yourself with small things that bring you pleasure, that are beautiful, that remind you of who you are and who you want to be, it doesn't even have to be something as big as buying a new couch. It can be something small, like little doodads or stuff you put in the bathroom, or even things that you put in your underwear drawer, that when you look at them, they make you feel happy. Do you remember the old saying that, you know, when a woman wears good underwear, when she wears something that's sexy, she feels sexier? That's how it works. When you start doing things that make you feel sexy, that make you feel happy, your energy will start to change the energy of the people around you. So when you look out your window and you see flowers, it's going to make you happy. Guess what? If somebody else looks out the window and sees flowers, they're going to feel happier too. It's just a natural side effect. Beauty helps people stay calmer. So when you, in whatever way you can, if you can start putting beautiful things in your environment, whether it's just for you or whether it's to be shared. You don't have to have your beautiful things out for everybody to comment on or have an opinion on or say, I can't believe you want that, or I don't think why do you like that? You don't have to share those things with other people. Your beauty is for yourself. And then if it's something that, you think you can bring out and make more of a permanent part of your environment, do that, because the beauty helps keep people calmer. Why do you think art museums and places of beauty and natural areas have so much more calm many times? It's because it's beautiful and it triggers the brain into something different. So, okay, so what else can you do? Well, another one is how you look. I had to take a big turn when I went from dressing for other people to dressing for myself. And it wasn't necessarily a big change. It was just a change in my mindset. It was a change in my thinking. And I started to dress in things that made me feel good. Even if it wasn't something I showed anybody else. It could be a bracelet, it could be a necklace, it could be certain earrings, it could be a top that I'm wearing, it could be a color that I like. But the key is here to do things that put you in a good mood. Because if you're in a good mood, it will help the other person in a good mood. If you're feeling good, you don't have to tell anybody, oh, I'm feeling good, so that they can ridicule you and put you down and, be mean and say, you're ugly anyways. It's about you advocating for yourself and wearing the things that make you feel pretty, that make you feel valuable, that make you feel like you deserve to feel good. So how you present yourself to yourself helps shift everybody else's energy in the room. So when I first got into my practice, there was a woman. It was this spiritual center that I would work out of, and we would volunteer, and she'd come in and she'd say, I want to be able to walk into a room, and when I walk into a room, people heal. And at the time I thought, wow, that's really arrogant. That's really pretentious. But as years have gone by, I realized that's true. You can walk into a room and people will heal. People will calm down. I can't tell you how many stressed out individuals, as soon as they're with me, they start to get calmer. And then when they're away from me, that's when some of the drama happens, is because they don't know how to regulate their system. When you surround yourself with beauty, with things that make you happy, with colors, with stuff out your window that you can see, with scents, with music, with things like, a little fireplace or a candle. Doesn't even have to be scented. It can just be your candle. When you start to make yourself and your happiness a priority, the natural side effect is other people start to calm down and feel good. Good rule of thumb is not to think of a narcissist as an evil person, because they aren't. People have varying degrees of narcissism, and we're all narcissists in some way or another. And we become very narcissistic when we're stressed out, when we're scared, when we're overwhelmed, right? And so the key isn't looking at the other person and thinking, why don't you stop? The key is, how do I control my own nervous system? How do I do things that make me feel good? And as a side effect, other people are going to feel good. I created my office space as someplace that I love to be in. And because I love to be in it, I feel good when I'm there. And when people walk in, my feeling of goodness will wear off on them. Now, I know sometimes that totally backfires, right? Where somebody comes home, a narcissist comes home, and you're in a good mood and they're in a bad mood, and your good mood triggers them to have a blow up. I totally get that, because they're like, why are you in such a good mood? Why, you don't have to put everything about who you are out there. You don't have to tell everybody that you're happy, tell everybody that things are going well. You get to kind of keep that to yourself and share it with the people that you want to. But your energy, your state of mind, your peacefulness, the fact that you put things around you that made you feel peaceful is what's going to do the trick. Healing happens. One of the most important pieces of people staying calm and healing themselves is the healer themselves. And if you decide you are going to heal you by doing things that feel good, by doing things that make you happy, by putting beauty around your life, then you're going to affect and impact every person around you. People love to have me in their life because they come into my space and it's beautiful and it's calming and there's music and there's smells and there's artwork, and there's tea, good tea, and there's nice things. And you'll find that a narcissist doesn't want to be a narcissist most of the time. They really don't want to feel as crazy in their head and as anxious and overwhelmed as they do. They don't. Nobody does. You don't like feeling that way. And you know what? Someone who's more narcissistic doesn't either. And so when you intentionally create a space, not for them, but for you, that makes you feel good, it's going to have the same impact. The colors and the smells and the music and the life and the flowers and the plants and the beauty that you bring with you is going to have an impact. It's going to keep things calmer. And as the holidays come up, and as we get through these crazy times and into the winter when COVID's going to jack up everywhere and people are going to be more stressed and sicker and frustrated and overwhelmed and depressed, it's so important to make a conscious, intentional effort to create an environment that is peaceful, to create an environment that allows for creativity. And I know you don't think you can do that in your house now, but when you start to make it something that's just for you and not necessarily needing to share it with anybody else, the side effects are still going to be there. They're going to be subtle, but they're going to have a big impact. Trust me, people walk into my space and they automatically calm down. And then other people, you know, when they leave the space, if they don't have the skills yet, if they don't have the environment to help them stay there, to help them stay in that calm place, like in their car, you can make your car a spa for yourself, a sanctuary for yourself. Plant that flag and say you want to do that. You can have an environment in your office, in your desk, in a drawer, where you have a little altar in a drawer. You can keep all of your wonderful, beautiful things secret if you want. You don't have to show them to everybody to be minimized and ridiculed and torn apart. You can just do them and see if they have an effect. Anything from nice sheets to good pillowcases to natural lights in your lamps to vitamin D to I like Blues Buster light bulbs in all of my lamps during the winter. So I'll change out all the light bulbs in the lamps to Blues Busters, and it'll allow my body to make more vitamin D, help me stay more balanced. I'll keep plant life around because of the exchange of the oxygen, of the exchange of being in a healthier space. So I want you to think about today the things that you can do for yourself that will put you into a good space. And the way you can start to impact your environment, whether it's in a little way where you it's just for you, or where you have the courage to start making it bigger. And what you'll find is, even though people might complain at first because they don't like change, what happens is it starts to impact them. And then they start to like it too, and they start to feel better, and then they want more of it in your life. And then when you try to take it away, they don't want you to take it away because it makes them feel good too. So the key, focus on yourself, focus on the things that make you feel good. You don't have to share them with everybody. You don't have to get their permission or their proof. You can just do it for yourself, and it will start to make a big impact in creating a peaceful home where you're not always so nervous and scared, where you don't have to be, because you've got some tools to help people and help yourself stay in a good, peaceful place, no matter what. Look at your environment, and your environment will have a huge impact on how you feel and how other people feel. Start with one thing. Let's say a bowl of oranges, and go from there, okay? So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Please get through this this whole pandemic. I'm going to be doing a wonderful Get Your Sexy Back live stream in an hour with my friend Julie Murphy. We're going to talk about power, sex, and money, because she is a money guru. She's been doing it for 20 years. She's a wealth management coach. She's my wealth management coach. And she's also been through her own sexual trauma. And so we're going to chat today. We're going to chat for 30 to 45 minutes about how we've been able to get our bodies back after sexual trauma, and how you can start to get yours back, even if it happened when you were a kid, even if you don't remember it, even if you think it didn't affect you, even if at times it's still happening now, even if at times you still feel victimized. We can help you take that back. We can help you get your sexy back. Absolutely. So join us in an hour, and right here, same bat channel. And Julie and I'll have a great conversation, and I hope you're able to join us. Talk to you later. Bye.